What's up everyone, and welcome back to Top 5 Gaming. Okay, so you may recognize me from another channel. But to be honest, I really like video games and thought, hey, why not come on the channel from time to time? Regardless, video games have been around for a long time, like a really long time. And the longer they're around, the harder they seem to come across. I'm serious, the first thing that was considered a video game came out in 1947. Good luck trying to find one of those bad boys these days, but anyways, today we're looking at 5 of the most rare video games that you'll probably never get a chance to play. Anyways, right now I want you to leave a like on the video and comment your favorite game from your childhood that you haven't played in years. I mean, Jak and Daxter or Ratchet and Clank, man, that brings back memories, but anyways, let's get right into it. Number 5, Red Sea Crossing. So it's pretty weird when a game gets lost to time, but that's exactly what happened to an Atari game called Red Sea Crossing. There isn't much information out there, and the stuff that is doesn't really tell us much. It was made by a man called Steve Slack for the Atari back in 1983 at the Inspirational Video Concepts development team. The game was advertised in the Christianity Today magazine only once, and the only way we have basically any information about this game is because of this ad. It says that the game was based on the famous story of Moses crossing over the Red Sea, and that would come with a coloring book and an audio tape, which to be honest are pretty weird additions to a video game release. Only 2 copies of this game have ever been found in the wild, with one going for $10,400 and the other for $14,000. Now they don't come with the coloring book or the tape though, so I bet a copy of the game with those included could go for much more on eBay. Number 4, Tetris. Tetris, yeah, the game with the blocks falling down the screen that you could play on literally any Flash game website ever made. It's pretty surprising that copies of this classic game will get sold for so much, but there's a very specific type of Tetris that really gets classic game collectors crazy with their cash. That's Tetris for the Sega Genesis. Technically, Tetris never came out on the Sega Genesis. The game was in production alongside the port for the Nintendo Entertainment System, but it was never actually released because of legal issues. Nintendo had exclusive rights to the game at the time, and I'm pretty sure anyone who has tried to upload a video about a Nintendo game knows exactly how that company could be with copyright. Believe it or not, 10 copies of the Sega Genesis version of Tetris has been sold, probably by people who are developing the game. Over the years, the Sega Genesis version of Tetris has been sold between $3,000 and a crazy high of $16,000. For a game that you could play on almost every game website out there, I think that's more than a little bit crazy. Number 3, 1990 Nintendo World Cup Championships Gold Edition. The 1990 Nintendo World Championships Gold Edition isn't exactly a name that rolls off the tongue, and it's likely not a game you've ever heard of. 26 cartridges of this game were released in a competition run by the Nintendo Power magazine back in 1990, and it was all because of a massive competition run by Nintendo at the time. These days, if you want to get into competitive gaming, there are loads of competitions to get involved in. But back in the 90s, these things were pretty rare. The competition was based around a specifically designed video game, which was basically 3 different mini-games. Players would compete on the games and receive some pretty insane prizes. The Gold Edition, released by Power Magazine, is basically the same game as the contestants used in the competition, but instead of being on a gray cartridge, it was on a gold one. Because of how super rare this game is, it doesn't get sold very often, but when it does, you're probably going to be looking at a price point between $15,000 and $21,000. Number 2, Air Raid. Air Raid is basically one of the coolest Atari games ever released. That's not just because of how rare it is either. The design of the cartridge was completely unique. Instead of just using like the standard cartridge, the Menavision development team designed their cartridge to be shaped like a handle. Who knows exactly why they did it? It has nothing to do with the game on the cartridge at all, but it's unique and probably helped the price shoot up so much. Only a handful of these games were ever released, and the copies have sold for as much as $33,400 in the past. I'm not sure if that's because the game is meant to be good. I mean, apparently it's like your basic classic guy saves a city from being destroyed by like alien saucers or whatever. But it also could cost so much because of like the iconic cartridge design. I'm surprised more developers didn't pick up on like the whole cartridge design though. I mean, it probably would have made pulling cartridges out of the console that much easier. Number 1, Gama Attack. So I guess it isn't really that surprising that all the games from today's list were old classics. A lot of those games were rare to begin with, and have only gotten even more rare as time has gone on. Gama Attack by Gamation is no different. According to rumors, there's only a single copy of the original Gama Attack left in existence. One on the entire planet. This copy of the game is valued to be worth up to $50,000, which is an absolutely insane price to pay for a classic game, even if it is technically the rarest game of all time. What's seriously crazy is that a few years ago, the original developer of the game went onto eBay and actually released 100 more copies of the game for sale. And some of those versions can sell for $20,000 a piece. Who knows if the guy behind Gamation still has more copies of the game ready to deploy out into the wilds of eBay. But if he does, they might be some of the most expensive video games ever sold. Talk about an easy way to make some quick cash, right? And there's our video on the top 5 rarest video games you'll probably never get to play. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to leave a like down below and subscribe to see whenever we upload a video. Also, if you have your own top 5 or top 10 gaming video you'd like to see on the channel, feel free to comment it down below. But anyways, I guess I'll see you in the next video.